Hello everybody, welcome back to the Elestrals realm. Today in the Elestrals world, we had a huge announcement. We got to see set 5 of Elestrals announced. It is called Elestrals Divine Champions Firestorm, and man, this set looks insane. But there's actually a ton that was not shown in the announcement video that I want to go through here. Now, I did record previously with my partner in crime, Bingle Bob, but the audio didn't record right, so I am here re-recording it now. But I have a small list of stuff you can find on the pre-order page that I thought was worth pointing out, and I even found some new card effects, and we got some good guesses on what some of these cards do. So starting off on the booster box pre-order page, we can actually see all of the box toppers here. Now, the Majursa and Carry-Off champion forms we have seen in the video, and the effects were shown, but the Majesty and Voltempest were not shown. And while we can't quite see the Majesty right there, it is kind of cut off and we can start taking guesses. I'm more interested in the Voltempest, which we can fully and clearly read right here. And so I'm going to go ahead and read that to you now. It says, when your champion of Zeus is destroyed in battle, you can special cast this Voltempest from your hand with 2 Thunder, 1 Wind, if your Zeus is enchanted and you control no Elestrals. And that effect is super nuts. That effect is nuts. And if some of the cards I show you later do what I think they do, this strategy is going to be very good. And some of those cards I'm talking about are in the starter decks, which we can actually see the 2 Stellars you can find in each of the starter decks. These 2 both being found in the same double pack, which, by the way, is just insane that they're selling 2 starter decks for the price of 1 and you get an extra pack on top of that. Absolutely nuts. But we can actually read the card here for the Elechick Champion of Zeus. We can see there the Stellar. It says, when this Elechick declares an attack, you can give it +1 attack for each Thunder enchanting each Zeus on the field until the next turn. And that is pretty good. And if we go to the deck list over here, we can actually see everything in the Zeus starter deck from all of the Champion of Zeuses, from Voltempest, Elechick, Grypheus, Fulgaris, and Titanostrike, along with plenty of other cards from the last sets. You can see there's lots of Champion of Zeus cards. And there's actually one new rune card called Zeus's Call. And our guess is that this actually will either add to your hand or potentially grab in some way a Champion of Zeus card, being Zeus's Call. It makes sense to me. So I think the idea would be you would do Zeus's Call, add, say, Elechick to your hand, have Voltempest in your hand, whichever one you're missing, play a Champion of Zeus with Zeus on the field, let it die, and then play Voltempest from hand, just from the effect, which seems nuts. It's a hand effect. We can also, in general, see the entire deck list for Zeus and all of the starter decks, which we will go through here. Moving on to the Hermes starter deck, we can actually see what the Carry-On Champion of Hermes does, and we already know the Carry-Off because that was shown off in the video. The Carry-Off, if you use Hermes' effect to send it to the Underworld, will let you blow up an Elestral for the amount of spirits it has enchanted on it, which is pretty good. But I actually think the Carry-On here is even more nuts. Now, obviously, this is the Stellar version here, but if you read the effect, when this Carry-On is sent from your deck to the Underworld with your Hermes effect, you can special cast it from your Underworld using Wind from either your Spirit deck or your Underworld, which is nuts. So you can do the Hermes effect that costs 2, send Carry-On to the Underworld, use one of the 2 you just sent to the Underworld to respawn the Carry-On, and then you can play something on top of that because it's a special cast. And if you look at the deck list for Hermes, you have a lot of targets for a special cast. You have Carry-Off Champion of Hermes, Dracodoodle, Spinosect, and a regular Carry-Off at that. As you can see, the deck overall is also a bug box. The Zeus starter deck is definitely Voltempest starter deck, while the Hermes is definitely super bug box. I mean, you have the Ardbud and Arvarms in there, lots of insects, and you can see as well the new Champion of Hermes cards for Carry-Off, Carry-On, Cockatoodle, Dracodoodle, Exaltair, Spinimp, and Spinosect. Now the Exaltair we have actually already seen in the video, and you get the Stellar if you order over $50, which you can see right here. That was shown at the very end of the video. However, what was not shown was this deck list, and there are 3 whole new runes for Hermes. We have, I believe you say it's Caduceus of Hermes. I'm not sure what that is, or how to say it. I have a feeling this is the artifact rune, because if you compare side by side, you have Hermes and then the Caduceus of Hermes, and then over here you have Zeus and Thunderbolt of Zeus, which is the artifact for Zeus. This would make sense that it is the artifact rune for Hermes. However, you have 2 more, Teleria of Hermes and Hermes Trickery. Not sure what either of those do yet, but Hermes Trickery does sound like some sort of trap card, which is super interesting. Maybe it could do something like, I don't know, pulling someone from the Underworld and casting it when you try to attack. Like that could be interesting, maybe a little too powerful. Just a thought throw out there. With that out of the way, we can talk about the Hestia versus Poseidon starter decks. Again, another insane starter deck, but both these starter deck packs are insane for their price point. But you can see two cards we actually did not get to see in the video, and that is the Sluggle Champion of Poseidon and the Earthscout Champion of Hestia. And we're going to start with the Earthscout here. It says, when you special cast this Earthscout, you can search your deck for a Champion of Hestia and add it to your hand. And this is nuts because if you look at the deck list, we know what Hestia does. Hestia lets you disenchant from it to special cast a fire card from your hand. So you would special cast the Earthscout, and then it lets you search for another champion of Hestia. What are the other champions of Hestia? Well, you have Majursa, Earthscout, Warmite, Ampharix, and Torchin. And so you have lots of targets to search for, and you can just go summoning off of that, and because it was a special cast. So you can play one of those cards on top of the Earthscout, or maybe even the Majursa at that point if you just build up one more guy. Overall, though, you can see the Hestia deck is actually a Bears starter deck, which is so sick. And you even get the Lavalith reprint, just the common reprint, which is super dope. The card's about $16 right now, but $25 to get Lavalith plus all of these other cards makes it super worth it. And it just gives you a Bear starter kit, which is awesome. And if we go to the runes, you can see the Hestia. You can actually see Torch of Hestia, which I'm going to theorize again is the artifact rune for Hestia. And then you have Hestia's Hearth, which I couldn't take a guess at what that is. But you do have another rune down here that is new called Hibernation. And Binglebob actually theorized this is some sort of frost bear rune, which would make sense. Bears hibernate in the winter, and there are frost bears. What it does exactly, we can't quite figure out. We thought maybe it does something, maybe takes the bear off the field for a minute, but we just couldn't figure out why you'd want to do that. Moving on to the Sluggle here, we can actually get a pretty good read on it. It says, when this Sluggle receives one or more water with Poseidon's effect, you can special ascend, I'm assuming it says, this Sluggle to Globby from hand or deck. And what's really cool about this is you can see there is a new Globby for Champion Poseidon, along with a Majesty, Veritaqua, Javalantis, and Galaxy, and the regular Globby is in the deck as well. This is really interesting because it actually gives a proper way to ascend through the chain to get to Majesty, and depending on what Majesty and Globby Champion of Poseidon do, it could be completely nuts. You can see here the rest of the cards. You see you've got all the Champions of Poseidon I just listed, along with the regular Sluggle and Globby with Tritagua, Foamy, Veritaqua, Javalantis, Harpy, and Plucky. And this is where I came in and I said, Harpy seems like maybe a Plucky Nexus form, and then I thought, no, what if it's a Plucky Ascension? That seems to make the most sense to me, is that this seems to be a Plucky Ascension. What exactly it will do, I'm not sure, but I do find it very interesting. And going on to the runes, you can see we have one new rune, and that is Poseidon's Fury. No idea what it does. It sounds scary though, very scary. Potentially some counter, maybe something like Don't Poke the Bear, in a more water appropriate way. Not sure though, just throwing guesses out there. And that is everything we could find about Elestrals Firestorm just by kind of poking around the pre-order website. There are some cards on the side of the box we can't quite see here. I'm going to try to get on them as close as I can. If you look here, it looks like potentially a Thunder Earth card, or Thunder Earth Elestral, or a Fire Earth Elestral. It's hard to tell based on the picture. It looks like fire up here, and then definitely Earth. But the rune almost looks like Thunder, but it's likely a Fire Earth guy. And then here you can see it's an Elestral as well. You can see a number there and a number there, but nothing very descriptive or definitive. But it looks like a Frost card, potentially with a Solar element next to it. So it looks like a Frost Solar Elestral, or possibly another Frost Thunder Elestral. Along with on the side of the box, there's some cards down here you just really can't make out. This looks like an equipped spell, possibly. Maybe that's the Fury of Poseidon, because it looks like a water card. And then you can see a new Flammoth art, along with, I believe that is a Carry-Off full art, and the Majursa Champion of Hestia full art. Carry-Off Champion of Hermes, obviously. And yeah, that is everything that we could find on the pre-order website. Like I said, you can see Majesty right here, but it's kind of hard to make out exactly what it does. But you're welcome to take a guess and comment below if you can figure out what it says. So yeah, that's going to wrap it up. Hope you enjoyed the video. Pre-orders go live for everyone tomorrow. I'm just able to look at it now due to having Shattered Stars, and wanted to point some of the stuff out ahead of time because I thought it was really interesting. So yeah, you know what they say? Disenchant that like button and expend to subscribe. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, we'll see you in the next video.